Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Melon Man here, and I've got my good friend now, Martin Kenny. I hooked up with Martin about a month ago now, and we've kind of kept in touch. And I'm back on a call with him as my personal world authority, because there's a lot of world authorities on this topic. This is the topic of the flat earth. Okay, Martin is a syncretist. He's gone back and looked at ancient civilizations, and he's cross-referenced a lot of what he's seen with deep research over the last couple of years. He's devoted his life to researching this topic. He quit his job. He put his whole life on the line and made the jump because he saw something here that he feels need to be revealed. He shared that with me a month ago, and I've done a little bit of research, but I'm trusting more so in the authenticity of this man. And so I'm bringing him back on the call as my personal world authority, because the last couple of weeks I've been sharing about flat earth. I've been sharing about UT, a couple things that I've just kind of, taken a leap of kind of faith and trust and opened myself up to, and I've started to expose, and I have received a ton of backlash, just a ton of haters. I'm getting hate mail all day long since I started talking about flat earth and UT. So listen, I'm doing this interview tonight with Martin to try to shine some more light, to try to get a real world-class authority, and to share some real hardcore evidence and what I think is a real new truth that needs to get out there. Martin, can you help me a little bit here on, why I've picked up all these haters just because I started sharing this message about the shape of our globe? What's this all about?
Wow, it's a little thing called cognitive dissonance, John, and we've grown up with certain belief systems ingrained within us. You've grown up in a family that's believed certain things. You went to school, you were taught to believe certain things, to the point where it's almost brainwashing. You've seen it on TV a million times. Every time you watch a movie, you see the spinning ball. Every time you open a science book to do with cosmology, you see a spinning ball, or you see a ball or sphere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And then all of a sudden, you're challenged. Someone says, hang on a minute. Let's question this. Let's have a look at this. Let's see this from a different perspective. Let's look at a different science, a geocentric science, as opposed to a heliocentric science. And most people don't even know that there's an alternative science, and has been for thousands of years. And the moment you do that, it triggers something in people. They get so angry. And the reason why they get angry is because you're challenging a core belief system. And science is a belief system. Modern science, heliocentric science, is a belief. It's as good as a religion. Now, what I always say to heliocentric people is, science is all about questioning. That is what science is. Science is never conclusive. Any scientist will tell you that. Science changes all the time, right? A mark of a civilized society is one that can question itself in all aspects of reality. So when you say to a heliocentric believer, let's talk about this, and they say, no, we're not talking about it. It's the holy word, right? I've got a science book. The science book says that's what it is. The scientists, the bishops of science, the great scientists have laid down the laws. We're not talking about it. It's not up for debate. That is it. You're blaspheming. You're talking about flat earth. That's blasphemy. You should be hanged, right? Don't breathe. Go and die. That's the language you get.
Exactly. People hate it, and that's it. That sums it up. It's like religion. If you challenge somebody's, religious beliefs, they come at you the same way. right? You got
Yep.
those people that are really deeply religious, real deep Christian believers, and you know what? God bless them and you, because I was a deep Christian believer at one time myself. I mean, no disrespect. However, if I challenge that belief in Jesus anymore, you know, to them, because I've allowed that thought to kind of leave me and not command me anymore, I've stepped outside of that paradigm, that bothers some Christians. And it's the same kind of thing that happens when I post about the flat earth. It's the exact same thing.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, absolutely. It's all to do with challenging. It's a belief system. That's all it is. And the fact of the matter is, you know, when you really break down the whole globe of belief, when you break it down, when you ask a globe believer, what is your best proof that you live on a spinning ball that's violently spinning, right? On this ball that is spinning at millions of different miles an hour, different directions. What is your best scientific evidence? And you know what they'll tell you? It's in a book, right? It's in these books, it's in these equations, it's in these theories that were discovered. You might as well be a Christian saying, how do you know Jesus existed? It's in my book, it was written.
You can't use the book that you believe in to prove the authenticity of your God.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is exactly what heliocentric science does. It does exactly the same thing, right? Although tell you I saw it on TV. Now, when you ask that same heliocentric believer, do you believe everything your government tells you? Do you trust your government? Most of them will say no. They lie to us all the time, right? So you say, well, hang on a minute. So what makes you think they're not lying about this, right? Where did the lies stop? You tell me where you think the lies stop, right? You don't know, right? How many people have been to space? How many people have been to beyond low Earth orbit? Most people don't know. 24, apparently. In the entire history of humanity, only 24 people have been outside the atmosphere of the Earth. And those 24 did it during the Apollo mission, so-called Apollo missions, between 1968 and 1972. Since then, no one's been to space. So when you ask yourself those questions, you start to wonder, hang on a minute. Let's question this. Let's talk about this. Let's ask why. And then you look at the whole moon landing thing. I mean, there's just so much evidence proving that that did not happen. That was a hoax, clearly. In fact, most globe Earth believers know that it was a hoax. Most globe Earth believers will say that to you. That, okay, yeah, the Earth might not be flat, but we didn't go to the moon.
Why do you say that? What's your biggest proof, I guess, for that, you know, we didn't go to the moon?
Oh, man, there's just so many.
Really?
For one, the biggest one, the most conclusive one is we apparently went to the moon in between 1968 and 1972, right? For those 4 years, we went to the moon about 6 times, 5 or 6 times, with technology less than my Android phone, a little more than a calculator. So we're told. They then tell us that once the Apollo missions ended, they destroyed all the technology and all the telemetry data and all the science behind those moon landings. We destroyed it because it was obsolete. We didn't need it anymore. Then you say, well, why haven't we gone back? Because we don't have the technology. That's what NASA says. Now, any thinking logical person should say, hang on a minute. The greatest feat of humanity ever, we went to the moon, right? You destroyed the technology. You destroyed the evidence. You destroyed 13,000 reels of scientific evidence, data, research to do with the Apollo mission. Lost, gone. And yet, in museums, you've got mummies that go back thousands of years from Egypt. You've got stone tablets from Sumeria that are thousands of years old. But the greatest feat of humanity, you decided to destroy the evidence. Why?
Where's the logic?
No, there's no logic. It just makes no sense. And then you say, carry on from that. Hang on a minute. You're saying we don't have the technology to go to the moon because it's too expensive. And yet we went to the moon with technology less than my Android phone. Where's the logic in that?
There is none. There is none. Okay. So moving forward from here, you know, what I'm seeing, and you know, I also had a talk with Brian Forster's. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Brian Forster's Ancient Civilization.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know, talking with him, he was talking about 4 different types of humanoid beings that he feels, in his opinion, have been on the planet, are on the planet, that seem to have been influenced what we have and who we are here today. So, you know, there's been some intermixing and some interbreeding, likely, but there's 4 different types of species. Alien, he seemed to speculate, that have been here, are here, have intermixed here, and what we have here is 4 different types of beings. So my thought from understanding that, you know, and in my quest for truth and trying to share truth with the world, I'm trying to put it all together with what's actually happening in my real life. And as I share, you know, flat earth, as I share UT, as I share fruit and fast, as I share you can heal and change your life, the power is within you. As I share that, I'm getting so much like hate, and some people that just flat out say that it's just not possible. And I'm trying to get my head around this, that if we are all of the same humanoid that we're told, then we should have some sort of consistency amongst the healing method or the healing paradigm. You know, we should all be able to kind of find some benefit out of the same things, but that does not seem to be the consistency. Some people are just not open to something, and they're just not willing. Like, is it possible that we've just got different types of beings here, and some of them are at different points, and some of them are open and available to some things, and some of them just are not and just will not be?
Fantastic. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Before I address that, I just want to just conclude my last topic.
Great.
On the flat earth, just quickly. Many people will say to me, you know, if you're saying that we're lied to about where we are and the earth is not a ball, what is your proof? What is your scientific evidence that we are not on a ball? So I always say to people, it's very, very simple. Let's start with common sense and logic. Let's start from that and then build our scientific basis from there. So first of all, what do you observe in your reality? Right? Do you feel like you're moving at millions of different miles an hour? Just from a common sense perspective, right? If you don't feel like you're moving, except during earthquakes, you are not moving. You are not. You're born with common senses for a reason. For that very reason, to know whether you're moving or not, right? If you don't feel like you're upside down ever, you never are. You're always upright. That is the reality. That is the reality we are living. That is the experience of reality.
They say it's gravity. Gravity makes us stick to the ground. So, but we would feel something.
Well, you could call that anything. If you called gravity Santa Claus, would people still believe it? You could say anything. It's like if I asked you what color is a clear sky. What color is a clear sky?
Blue.
And you said it's blue. And I said, no, it's not blue. It's green. And you said, no, 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 my common senses are telling me it's blue because it's what I observe in my reality. I'm looking at it, I'm observing it. My common senses, my eyes are telling me that it's a blue sky. Blue is the color of the sky. Now, if I come and say, no, 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 science says it's actually green, and there's a thing called Jabberwocky that makes it look blue. Do we all now believe in Jabberwocky that makes the sky green in the name of science that goes against your common senses? That is what we've done. So we must start from that basis of common sense and logic of what is your personal experience of reality, and then build the science on top of that. You can't build a science off a theory that goes against reality, observable reality. So that's really important. I needed to say that.
Okay, and I wanted to come back to the proof of the flat Earth, but let's do that now. Let's what are your top 3 proofs that kind of make you most certain that the Earth is flat?
For one, there is absolutely no observable curvature of the Earth. There's no scientific experiment that's ever been done to prove curvature of the Earth. Theoretically, yes, there are equations and numbers and theories that prove the Earth has got curvature, but there's no actual physical experiment. So the correct scientific method to prove anything as factual, it must be testable, observable, and repeatable. Right? And until then, it is not a fact. That's the scientific method. Test, observe, repeat. Now, if no one can come up with a testable, observable, repeatable, scientific method of proving that the Earth curves at 8 inches per square mile, or 8 inches per mile squared, I think it is, then it's a theory. It's not a fact. And because it's a theory, I have to assume that curvature doesn't exist. Another one, very simple physics. Water always seeks to find its level. Basic physics. That is the natural state of water. Nowhere in the natural observable world, apart from the CGI globe that we see, do we ever see water curving to the outside of any object, gravity or not. We don't see this. It doesn't exist. It's not physically possible. But we're told somehow, outside the realms of our observation and reality, this happened. And we must just believe it. Right? They say, many people will say, oh, what about all the pictures of the Earth? There is only one alleged photograph of the Earth. Again, that was taken during the Apollo moon landing. And that one is dodgy. That's been debunked many times. The rest are all CGI. Every globe you've ever seen is CGI. And NASA openly admits this, that they're all composites. We cannot photograph the moon, the Earth. Why?
Why?
We've got the Hubble telescope in deep space. We've got all these satellites. Just take a photograph or a video in real time of the whole Earth. Not a section, the whole Earth spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. End of debate. And that doesn't exist today. Why?
Just turn the camera on it. Just
turn the camera.
Turn the camera around on it.
Right? Show us planes flying upside down in Australia whilst the Earth is spinning. Show us boats, and the conversation will end. Zoom in real time. This doesn't exist, and no one questions why. It's insane. In this day and age of technology, we're still getting CGI.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Makes no sense.
At all.
How can you not see that?
I know, right? But you see, most people are not even asking these questions. Most people believe in this heliocentric belief without knowing the fact. I realized when I first found flat Earth, my instinct was to do what most people say. Rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. No way. And someone challenged me and said, okay, Mr. Heliocentric, you obviously know about your belief that you're defending. How big is the Earth? I said, oh, I don't know.
But I'll find out.
How fast is it spinning? I don't know. How far away is the sun? I don't know. How far away is the moon? I don't know. I knew nothing about what I was defending. Nothing.
Right.
But I was quick to say it's a spinning ball. That's all I know. It's only when I started looking at things and saying, whoa, so the Earth is only 24,000 miles in circumference. That's not big. That's small. That's not big at all. That's quite a small ball, according to the heliocentric science. So in that case, shouldn't we at least see some curvature from altitude on a plane? Shouldn't a plane, if the Earth is then curving at 8 inches per mile squared, shouldn't an aeroplane always be dipping its nose to make up for that accelerative gradient? Right? You start thinking, and you start thinking, hang on a minute, this makes no sense. The sun is 93 million miles away in deep, dark space. Why is it sometimes I can see clouds behind the sun? What's going on there? Right? What about the angles of sunlight? Crepuscular rays. Why do we see those if the sun is so far away? Shouldn't the rays be equal all over the Earth if the sun is so far away? Why are the rays always, the sun's rays, in one focal point? It can't be 93 million miles away in deep dark space.
Okay. So this is it. But some people just can't receive it. Some people can't receive it. Some people say they can't live on fruit. Some people say they can't, they're not touching UT. Some people are saying, no, there's no power within. There's no energy within us. There's no spirit. They're denying it. They get angry about it. They can't live without their meat. Is it that there's different types of people that just can't receive this message?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So what is happening at the moment on Earth is we're having something called a conscious shift. We're consciously evolving on a spirit level, not physically. So I believe in evolution, but conscious, mental, and spiritual. Now, within this conscious evolution, not all of us are going to evolve and move forward at the same rate or at the same time. Not all of us are on the same journey. We're all on different journeys along this. Some are meant to wake up and ascend or move on to the next thing, if you like, to the next reality, if you like. Right? These are the people waking up. These are the people that are ahead of their time. You hear this a lot.
This is like an awakening that you're feeling, like you're being driven towards something. Something's calling you. You feel like you need to expose something. You need to share something. You need to tell somebody something. This is my truth. This is my truth. Absolutely. I feel like I got to say it. I got to tell people about it.
Now, if we're going to esoteric mysticism, right? Let's talk about esoteric mysticism and occult truths and all that, and syncretism. If you look at all the trinities or all the gods in the world, they always come in a trinity. Science has protons, electrons, and neutrons. They say that's what the world is made up of. The Christians will tell you, oh, the Holy Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Right? That is the source of life. The Vedics will tell you Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Brahma, the creator. Vishnu, the sustainer. Shiva, the destroyer. Right? You go to mythology. Poseidon, Zeus, and Poseidon, Zeus, and I forgot the other one. But all mythologies, they all have this holy trinity of gods. Right? So when you look into it on a deeper occult, esoteric essence, you know, when you really look at it, and you break it down, it's very simple. There are three types of souls in the universe. They are the Brahma souls, the creative souls, that are always in a certain realm to create or to uplift or to evolve. They are the Vishnu souls, the sustainers, the ones that are not hot or cold, they are lukewarm. You've got the Vishnu souls, who are sort of the destroyers in a way. They're the ones right at the back. They're the ones yet to balance it out, the negative. So you've got a positive,
I know those
neutral,
guys.
and
I
negative.
know those guys. I got
So
some
you
of them.
see this.
Yeah.
So you see this, John, when you look at the whole situation at the moment. You've got the positive souls who are looking for truth, who are sharing truth, who are
Yes.
trying to bring health and happiness and understanding
Yes.
and
Yes.
knowledge to humanity. We are
Yes.
seeking the truth. We have
Right.
changed our life. Truth has become the light, right? We're the positives. You've got the neutrals, who are the bystanders, right? They're not disagreeing, but they're not agreeing. Some of them will say, I'm sure you've got friends who will say, yeah, John, I hear what you're saying about the veganism and about the flat earth stuff and all this stuff. I hear it, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. I just want to feed my family. I just want to go on vacation.
We're all gonna
I just
die
want to make
anyways.
money and
We're all gonna
die.
die
I'm
anyways.
going to die anyway. Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Why are you bothering? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to live my life.
Yeah.
So these are the neutrals. They're not hot or cold. They're not positive or negative.
Right.
Then you've got the negatives,
Yes.
who, for whatever reason, they will fight anything that goes against the current paradigm.
Yes.
When you say to them, guys, let's go plant-based, let's stop killing animals, they will laugh at you and say, are you stupid? We're meant to kill and eat them.
Right.
We're meant to eat blood, flesh, and pus. That is our right as humans.
Yes.
How dare you question that?
Yes.
You're crazy. And you look at them and you think, are you listening to what you're saying? Stop and listen to what you're saying. They say, no, I'm going to kill. And they're proud of it. And there's nothing you and I will say, my brother, to change their mind.
It's
Those
their
people,
right.
that is their journey.
Right.
That's what they're here to do.
That's
They're here to
their
balance out that energy. That's their role. There's some people who, no matter what evidence you present about the flat earth or the fact that the earth is not a globe, they are just not even going to tolerate it. They'll even get angry. I've been told to go and die, stop breathing.
Yes.
You know, I've been called all kinds of names just because I've said, let's talk about this.
Yes. Yes.
So
Okay.
there's nothing I would say to change their mind. That is their journey.
That's it. That's it. So you know what? That explains so much to me right there. And it's amazing that I'm talking about flat earth, I'm talking about UT, I'm following what's kind of resonating inside of me. I didn't know you more than a month ago. I was introduced to you by another guy that I didn't know more than 2 or 3 months ago. I'm just being pulled into this direction. I'm just following what is my truth. I'm being attracted to it. I'm meditating on it. I'm thinking about it. I'm talking about it, and I'm being attracted to it, and it's coming to my reality, and I'm just talking and sharing about it, and then talking about my experience with you and getting the answers. Like it's just evolving. It's just happening in front of me, and it's just making sense. So why do you think, speculation now, you know, let's get into why are we being misled? Why are we told the urine is bad? Why are we told to eat the meat? We need the protein. Why are we told to stay on a high-fat protein diet? Why do we think that the earth is round and they're schooling it to us? Why are they seemingly keeping us in the dark. What is it? Why are they telling us the pyramids were built by people when Brian Forster says it's just not possible? What's going on? Why are they doing it? What? It's a conspiracy? Like we're the conspiracists? Is there some ruling power over us that doesn't really want us? Is this the Illuminati? Who is it? Why are they doing it? What's their purpose? What are they stopping us from seeing?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And it's a very complex and deep, deep question. And to answer that question, we have to understand the true construct, first of all, of our Earth, where we are in the universe. We have to understand what we are. We have to understand the different races that live on the plane of the Earth, like you mentioned earlier on, the 4 races. We have to understand ages of consciousness, right? The seasons, there are seasons, just like we have seasons in a year or seasons in a day. They're also cosmic seasons of consciousness. So we have to understand all these cycles and seasons and the entire construct of our universe. So, in a nutshell, this is a debate that I'm having even with flat earthers. Once you realize the Earth is flat, there's this mantra that it's flat. The Antarctic ice wall is at the edge, and there's a dome above us, and that's it, and there's God outside. That's the generally accepted model of the flat Earth. That's the model we've been given, right? When we discovered flat Earth, most of the big truthers, this is what they're preaching. Now, when I woke up to flat Earth, it just made no sense, because then I started asking, hang on a minute, what about all the extraterrestrials that all the ancient cultures talked about? All the ancient cultures did talk about a flat Earth, but they also talked about extraterrestrial beings from other worlds. What other worlds? What the hell was that? What about the pyramids, like you mentioned? Who on earth built those things? They couldn't have been slaves. It's not possible.
No.
It's not, the scientists will tell you it is not possible.
Yeah.
Right? So when I started to think like this, I started to really dig deep and research mainly ancient cultures, what the ancient cultures said, because it looked like the ancient cultures all seemed to know more than we know today. So when I started looking at them syncretically and reading all the ancient scripts and texts like the Bible, the Quran, the Avestas, you know, I started to see things that were coming together. This is what you call syncretism. And I started to see a better picture of our universe. Now, cut a long story short, they all say that we are inside what's known as a cosmic egg, an electromagnetic torus field, which we talked about in the last video. And the Earth is extremely vast. It's not just this small little pond with a dome above us floating in space somewhere, which is just ridiculous, or in water. It's just madness. There's no scientific evidence for that. There's no proof of that. But when you look at it syncretically, the Earth is extremely vast. There is something called electromagnetic energy that governs and rules all existence. And according to my research, there are currently 4 domains of land, which many ancient cultures talked about. And these 4 domains of land are all separated by electromagnetic fields of energy, torus fields, what flat earthers call the dome. So at the moment, we're all separated in our different realms on the plane of the Earth. This is where you start getting myths like, who were the Anunnaki and where were they from? Who were the Nephilim and where were they from? Who were the Palladians and where were they from? Angels, where were they from? All these beings, Quetzalcoatl, Nomor, that these ancient cultures talked about, where did they come from? These gods that came from the skies. What skies? We now know that the Earth is flat, but we can't ignore those facts. Right? We can't just sweep that under the carpet and go, so a lot of flat earthers are not willing to talk about that. They go, no, we're not talking about that. It's flat, yes, but space doesn't exist. There are no extraterrestrials. It's just us and God, which is crazy. Right? That is a prison, a false paradigm we're building for ourselves. That is even more of a prison than the spinning ball. right? You're implying that we're locked in this fishbowl, in this fish tank, which is not true. We live in a vast universe, extremely vast universe. So anyway, the 4 realms have got their own what's called root races. So they have the Aryan race, which is the newest root race that was seeded about 6,000 years ago. That is at the center of the earth in what's called the Garden of Eden. Right now at the North Pole, there is a small crater continent that's called, people call the Garden of Eden. It's been called Shambhala. It's been called Avalon, Agatha, many different names by many different cultures. That's what it is. And it's covered by its own electromagnetic field. And we see this electromagnetic field. And NASA tells us that at the North Pole, there is an electromagnetic field, the Aurora Borealis. That's what it is. That is what the Aurora Borealis is. It's a field of energy, a dome above the crater continent, the Valley of the Gods, as they say, at the North Pole. In our realm, which is the next one, this is where we are. We are Atlantean. That is the original root race of this realm, Atlantean being. Beyond our ice wall, the perimeter, the south polar perimeter, is another electromagnetic field of energy, which again we see and we are told about, the Aurora Australis, right? Or the Vernallen belt. Science tells us there's a Vernallen belt. So there is some truth in what they're telling us. They don't tell us complete lies. They mix lies with the truth. We've not been completely lied to. So in the outer realm is a race of beings. The root race are the Lemurians. They are the root race on the outside of us, sometimes called reptilian. You hear this word, oh, there are reptilians amongst us, or reptilian beings once came to Earth. Those are the ones being referenced as reptilians, the Lemurians. Beyond that, there is probably another electromagnetic field. And the realm out on the last 4th realm, those are the Hyperboreans, also known as the Anunnaki. Right? You have the Sumerian text that talk about the Anunnaki that once came to Earth with technology and all these things. That's the Hyperborean on the outer realm. Now, these realms are created over cyclical time. So according to my research, to my cosmic calendar, which I'll be releasing a video soon, I keep saying, right? Every 24,000 years, just like our 24-hour clock, right? Something happens called a pole shift. And when a pole shift happens, a new race of beings and new land, a new Garden of Eden, is seeded from the center of the earth. It folds out like the ripple in water. Or like if you look at a tree trunk, the different rings, as a tree grows, it grows an extra ring. Same thing, microcosm of the macrocosm. That's the beauty of creation. There are no secrets. All you have to do is observe nature. Nature will tell you everything you need to know about who we are and where we are. So it's exactly the same thing with it. So the earth is a living organism that breathes, that grows, right? Just like a tree. In fact, we are on a tree. It's a tree trunk that we're living on, with all the different rings, just like this tree. So every 24,000 years, a new epoch, a new ring is created from the center, growing outwards. And this is what earthquakes are, right? And all these tectonic plates moving, because the earth is growing, pushing outwards constantly. That's what it is. It's that simple. Now, if you look at the races that live in this realm, we're all Atlanteans. That's our root race. We're Atlantean beings. That is our humanoid root race, right? We all look similar. Whether you're black, white, Chinese, we roughly look the same, with minor variances like skin pigment, hair, facial features, minor things. But generally, you can tell we're one race, right?
Yeah.
These other races on the outside probably look a little bit different to us. I'm sure if we met them, which many ancient cultures described, they looked alien. That's where the word alien comes from. They don't look like they're from this realm. They're from somewhere else, but they are humanoid. They're not the aliens we're shown with the squinty eyes. That is propaganda. They're humanoid. They are our cousins. They're related to us. Right? Now, over periods of time, which again, I would have to show you on the clock, these electromagnetic torus fields open and close. So every, I think, 6,000 years, they open up, and all the different races from all the different realms are able to interact. There's a rebalancing of energy. They interact, they share technology, they share information, they do whatever they do, interbreeding maybe, and whatever happens, and then they close up again, and the different realms get on with it. This is where the different subraces in this realm come from. So there are 4 main subraces in this realm. You've got the black race, you've got the Chinese race, you've got the Indo-Asians, and you've got the Oriental. Those are the 4 main races. And those 4 main races are a direct byproduct of the 4 root races. So for instance, the Hyperboreans were the first Garden of Eden. They were the first one because they're the outer ring, right? So they must have been the first one. So that was the first Garden of Eden. And the first root race were these Hyperboreans. Now I'm willing to bet if we met them, we'd say, I see where black people get their features from, where black humans in this realm get their features from. These Hyperboreans, Anunnaki, look very similar to black people. Same sort of color, pigmentation, hair. There's a similarity there. They're different, but there's a similarity.
The original man.
Interesting.
Yes.
The Sumerian texts talk about the Anunnaki seeding humans in Africa, which is where the myth of we all came from Africa comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the first root race. The second one is the Lemurians, who are also called reptilians. Now, as controversial as it sounds, if you saw an Oriental person, their eyes, their facial features, and you put scales on them, you'd almost think they're reptilian looking. Right? I'm willing to bet if we met a Lemurian being, would say, I see where Oriental people get their features from, the Chinese and the Japanese and the Malaysians. They look very similar to these Lemurian beings, the second root race that was seeded. Right? So that's a trickle effect of that. Right? The original root race, the original Atlanteans, are the Vedic Indians. They are the native to this land. That is the native pigmentation or body or whatever that you want to call it of this realm, the Indian. Which is why the Indian cultures are probably the most richest cultures in this realm. Right? Sanskrit, the Vedic text, they're the oldest text on earth. They're the most conclusive, they have the most information. The Indians have the most knowledge about veganism and all these things. Right? India is like the Mecca of spirituality. It's because they are the original root race of this place. So the culture, the Atlantean culture, comes from there originally. So technically, we are all Atlanteans. We're all Indians at heart, really, with a mix of these different root races.
Okay, so if I'm understanding what you're saying here,
I'll just finish, John.
Okay,
I'll just finish the last one.
Yeah.
And the last one would be the white race, the Aryans. So I'm willing to bet if we went to the center of the earth now and we met these Aryan beings, the newest root race that was seeded 6,000 years ago, would probably go, I see where white people get their features from. They look very similar to these Aryan beings from the center.
So this is a much better story than the creation stories that we have, man. and what it does for me is it's saying to me is it's like, because what you're saying is that the universe or our planet is going to open up and people are going to be able to interact, and I'm assuming you're saying that's coming
soon.
And that's why we've got people awakening, and we've got this convergence of information of people seeing things the same way and other people not. Some people that aren't ready to go to the next level aren't seeing it, right? But if we know that this is going to happen, then we could wake up and everyone could start preparing for the next thing that's going to happen.
Absolutely, brother.
But if we're kept in the dark, then if we don't connect to our spirit, if we don't connect to the power that's within us, we don't get guided in this direction. So if we're not following,
and we will still remain under control because we won't know what's going on. We'll be ignorant.
And we'll miss
Knowledge is power.
And we'll miss it. We'll miss it.
We'll miss it. That is the ultimate game that's happening here.
Because whoever is having us go to work, get the money, pay the bills, wants us to keep on going to work, get the money, pay the bills, buy the milk, buy the meat, and get congested so that we can't connect to the spirit, so that we can't realize the truth, which is the earth is flat, and we can make a change if we stop eating meat and stop getting congested, stop getting sick, and stop eating the medication, and stop going to the doctor, and stop paying those bills, and stop working and start eating the fruit that's for free, and start eating taking the sunlight that's for free, and putting our feet on the earth and drinking the free medicine that can actually heal us and bring us back to our spirit, which is going to help us to come to where we need to be, which is like what's happening to me right now, why I'm bumping into people like you and finding out this information and learning this knowledge, because I'm connecting to the spirit energy that is within me.
Absolutely. And beautifully put, John.
And that makes sense.
Absolutely. Now, on a bigger scale as well, we talk about the different seasons. So they are just like we have 4 seasons in a year and 4 seasons in a day and 4 phases of the moon, etc., etc. There are also 4 cosmic seasons of consciousness. And each of these 4 different realms experience one of the 4 seasons at the same time. So there's the Golden Age. You might have heard of these before. The Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age. These are ages of conscious awakening. Now, in this realm, the last 6,000 years, we've been in our Iron Age. We've been asleep. We've been in our Iron Age. The other realms, the one at the center is always, everything begins from the center. Everything always starts from the center. The center is always ahead. So the center had their Iron Age 6,000 years ago. They've been in their Bronze Age. They're about to go into their Silver Age. So they're also having their own awakening at the center, the Aryans. They're about to go into their Silver Age. We are coming out of our Iron Age. We are about to go into our Bronze Age in this realm. The realms on the outside are still in the old Atlantean epoch, which is difficult to explain without showing you the cosmic wheel, but I'll explain in due time. They are about to have their reset, like we had. A flood or something's about to happen, or has happened, and they are about to start their Iron Ages. So when we had our Iron Age, this is when all these different races came to this earth and manipulated us and did whatever they did because we were in our Iron Age. We had fallen. And we are about to do the same thing to the beings on the outside. History repeats itself. Hence Trump's Space Force. They keep talking about going to colonize Mars. There's some truth there. Mars not being the luminary, the light in the sky. Mars being the lands where Mars, the luminary, is the sun on the outer ring. That's Mars. They want to go and colonize Morian. That's what they're saying. They're going to colonize the beings on the outside when the Taurus field's open. At the moment, NASA says we can't get past the Van Allen belt. That's why we can't go into outer space. But very soon, we will. So they're telling us what's happening for those paying attention, for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. Right? So this is what's happening. So this is where the concept of time travel comes, John. This is where it gets exciting. If you think about it, if the realm at the center is 3,000 years ahead of us, if me and you went to that realm tomorrow, we've traveled 3,000 years in time. We've gone forward in time, 3,000 years. Literally. We've gone into a different dimension. If we then go to the outside realm, we've gone 3,000 years, no, not 6,000 years, sorry, back in time. We've time traveled backwards. History repeats itself. So this is what's happening now. So this conscious energy that's awakening us, that's now separating all the beings in this realm into these different paradigms. You know, my neighbor next door is in a totally different reality to me, completely. You know, to him, he eats meat, he pays his bills, he does all the matrixy things, he believes in the system 100%, he watches the news every day and believes all of it, he lives on a globe, he came from a monkey. That is his reality. That is his reality. My reality is the opposite of that, and yet we're separated by a single wall, literally. Right? And this is what's happening. So I believe what many ancient cultures talked about is that when these torus fields open, there will be a rebalancing of energy. There are certain souls or certain people, physically, without having to die, that are going to go forward to play the next game, if you like, because it's all a game at the end of the day. We're all here to experience, learn, grow, and move on. We're spiritual beings having a physical existence. That is the core of it. All of this is a game. This whole avatar, looking for truth, who am I, finding out where, it's all a game. Right? And once you've woken up to the game, in this reality, you're ready to move on to the next level. So I believe those of us who have woken up fully, those of us who are aware, those of us who are ready to move on, will somehow, I can't say how, we are going to go to the next level.
All right.
The current Garden of Eden at the center.
All right.
We're going to go forward in time because we're ahead of our time. Now, if you think about it, John, right?
Yeah.
If they are in their Bronze Age, about to go in the Silver Age,
yeah,
the beings that live there probably stopped eating meat a long time ago during the Bronze Age. That's a Bronze Age paradigm. That's an Iron Age paradigm, sorry. They are probably preparing to become breatharians, getting ready for the Golden Age. Right? They know who they are. They know where they are. They're awake. They're in the Silver Age. Their DNA is almost at full activation.
They've recognized the powers within them. They're prana. They're living on the prana. They're spirit beings. They're like almost like gods.
So me and you, John, when we're feeling this urge to want to become fruitarian, breatharian, to want to look for truth, want to know where I am, what I am.
Yes.
We are preparing ourselves for that new paradigm.
Right. We're moving toward it.
We're moving toward it. We have to prepare now. Because if you went in there without that frequency, you wouldn't live. You wouldn't cope. You'd die, basically. Because the frequency is much, much higher there.
And that's why
the electromagnetic frequency.
The fruits have the higher electromagnetic energy. They're the highest electromagnetic food. We're craving that higher electromagnetic food because we want to resonate at a higher level. The more we eat the fruits, the less we need to eat. The more time we spend in emptiness, the more we realize that we can unfood. We don't need to eat as much food. As we do that, our bodies heal more. We lose weight. And we let go of all of the physical and material things. We love more. We connect to that spirit within us. We resonate. We collect people that are like-minded, and we're sharing that information. Tell me, I spoke to you a month ago, and I know you were talking about wanting to, make a bigger commitment to your exercise and your nutrition. What's happened?
Wow, that's I can't wait to talk about this. But just before I do that, I just need to finish that last point because it's really important.
Awesome.
Because it ties back to your original question. So during this shift, which I think is going to happen in 2020, right? And there's a lot of evidence pointing to a lot of things happening, 2020 and beyond, which I couldn't even go into now because we'd be on this for hours. But there's much, much evidence. But anyway, when this happens, some souls, the creative forces, the electrons, the Brahmas, they are going to be moving forward into time ahead, into the next paradigm. The Vishnus, the neutrons, the neutrals, they are the ones who will be staying in this realm. That's the majority. To help bring forth a new world order. Yes, I said it. A new Bronze Age world order. A slow shift towards the Bronze Age. They're the ones who are now going to start the new journey for humanity. Things will change up to 2020 because we're going to see things that are going to change the paradigm of this reality. How that changes, we don't know. This is why we're kept in the dark, because I think the powers that be, that know these secrets, they want to control the narrative so they can control the new world order.
And be the
But
leadership
we all know,
that collects the money from all the people that are working in that world. They can be on top, sitting back, enjoying this world.
Absolutely. But things are going to change. Things are going to improve, 100%. Things will get better.
I love it.
But
I love it. This
slowly.
makes sense. This makes sense. This, to me, pulls it all together. This pulls it all together.
Right? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So those who have the knowledge are able to control the power and have the power. So the many people that are going to stay in here, the neutrals, they're the ones that are going to be reincarnating in this realm for a few more thousand years until they're ready to move on. They're staying here. They have no need to go anywhere. Right? A lot of people, you hear them saying, who cares about outer space or extraterrestrials? Let's fix things here on Earth. Let's fix things here. Right? You can tell you're a neutral. That is your journey. You're here to stay and fix things here.
Yeah.
For some of us, we're saying, you know what? I'm tired of this game. I can't live in this world of death and meat and killing animals, and I just can't do it anymore. I feel like I need to move on. I don't know what to move on to, but I have to move on. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
Money and chasing the carrot, and it just makes no sense to us anymore at all. Right? We're ready to move on. And then you've got those who are the negatives. These are the ones who are hungry for power. They don't want things to change. They love the money system. What don't you like about democracy? It's beautiful. We need democracy. We need government. Without money, society would collapse. We have to eat meat or we all die. Yeah, we're at the top of the food chain. So the animals must be killed for our survival. Right? These are the same ones who believe in space deeply. A lot of them will say, yeah, we're going to colonize Mars. We're going to go to Mars. We're going to start a new colony. We're going to, new frontier. They will be at the top of the queue to want to go out, if that option is available to them. They want to go back in time to those old paradigms. They want to go back 6,000 years in time.
Amazing.
And that's what it is. So it's a rebalancing of energy that will happen.
Amazing.
So a few are going to be going forward, a very few. And I'd like to make an educated guess. Many scriptures talk about 144,000. So you see it in the Bible, you see it in many cultures. They talk about this 144,000 people. So I think there's something to that number. So I think maybe there are 144,000 human beings who will be moving forward. And I think there are also 144,000 beings who will be moving backward. The rest will all be staying here.
Interesting. Interesting. Wow.
Beautiful, brother.
Wow.
Amazing, amazing time.
Wow. Wow. Okay, man. So tell me, what have you been doing? Like you were saying you wanted to get into, you wanted to clean up the diet a little bit, get exercise and lose some weight. You were talking about it. What have you been doing, man? What's going on?
Well, John, I've had an amazing couple of weeks, brother. Amazing couple of weeks. I'll be documenting it again with the Apple diet once I get into the rhythm of things, and once I've got things out of the way.
Cool. Looking forward to seeing that.
My full journey so far, my health journey, and it's been phenomenal. So I started off the first week. I decided to go raw vegan, and I did a detox with some herbs to clean out my bowels and my system. So I did a 1 week intensive bowel and body cleanse, a full detox, and raw vegan. So I did that for the first week, and I felt amazing. And I thought, wow, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna push the boat out.
Mm-hmm.
So in the second week, I said when I stopped the bowel cleansing, I said I'm gonna go on to urine therapy now to wash out my system.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
To go with my vegan diet. So my raw vegan diet. So I carried on as a raw vegan, but I was doing urine therapy at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
The third week, which is the week that's just gone by, I decided I'm gonna push the boat out. I'm gonna go fruitarian.
Oh yeah.
Just gonna eat fruit and carry on with the urine diet.
Yes.
For the last 7 days, I've been having one meal a day.
Yes.
You saw me eating a watermelon earlier on.
Yes.
I'm having one fruit a day, or one bowl of fruit a day.
Yeah.
At about 7 o'clock in the evening. That's
Yeah.
all I'm eating.
Yeah.
And during the day, I'm urine looping.
Yes.
Urine.
Yes.
I've also started exercising. I'm running now. I'm going back to the gym. Man, I feel amazing. I've got so much energy. It's crazy.
And you're dropping weight.
I am dropping a ton of weight. I'm going to post all the pictures up again, to show you the chronology of how I'm transitioning in the short 3-4 weeks. Massive change.
Nice.
My weight, physically, mentally, and spiritually, I'm feeling amazing.
Yes.
And some days I don't feel like eating. Yesterday, last night, I literally, I'm not joking, John. I had about 4 finger slices of pineapple last night. That's all I had. Right? Woke up this morning feeling great, didn't eat anything, urine looping. Tonight, I wasn't feeling hungry. I almost felt like going to bed without eating. I almost felt like I could go to bed and not eat today, which means I've gone 3 days without really eating and not thinking about food. Right?
This is
it.
it.
Well, we're going camping on the weekend. Maybe I'll have watermelon. I don't want to overdo it and get too excited. Stay grounded. So that's why I had the watermelon. But I didn't need it. I didn't feel like I needed it.
Yes.
It's amazing, brother. It's amazing.
It is. We can transition. We can de-food, unfood. We can unfood, and it happens through fasting and fruiting and getting the toxins and congestions out of our body. We connect to that energy, that spirit energy within us, and everything we need is provided from within.
Yep. 100%.
Same. We're on different parts of the world, and we are coming together to the same place.
Yes.
Independently.
Yep.
We've spoken 3 times. We've spoken 3 times. 3 times?
Meant to be. Those on the same path, brother. We're all going to resonate and find one another somehow, and share information and share knowledge and learn from one another and grow. This is going to happen for those seeking it. It's going to happen naturally.
Unbelievable, brother. It's been a real pleasure. We've talked for a long time. I don't want to keep ourselves on the line any longer. I'm going to stop it here. I love your story. I love what you've done. I love what you've shared. I love your messages. They're so important. They're so valuable to me, and they clarify so much for me, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I'm going to be sharing this. I'm going to send you a copy. I'm going to be sharing this, and we'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Let's do it, brother.